How do you follow a debut album that shocked the world? Well, this indomitable band did it with a brash nonchalance that was exactly what fans wanted from their rock and roll heroes. The story of the second epic LP by the illustrious Van Halen, the mighty Van Halen, and a dissection of each track is next on Professor of Rock. Hey Music Junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. If you used to have your walls lined, your bedroom walls, with the posters of the great guitar heroes, you are going to love this channel. Just subscribe below right now to be a part of our daily celebration of music. And by the way, we do have new merch, including our new Vintage Years collection, where we celebrate on the shirt a great year from the rock era. And you can get your 1984 shirt today by clicking on our merch where I'm pointing, or you can go to professorofrock.com. We also have a Patreon below. When you support us there, you help our mission, and we do give you more content. Now, after the incredible success of their debut self-titled album, one would think that Van Halen was living the dream. Wrong. When the band came back from a year of solid touring, they were welcomed by their record label, Warner Brothers, with the sobering news that they owed the label $2 million. And by the way, you guys owe us another record stat. P.S. Even though you're coming off a groundbreaking debut album, we cut your recording budget. Welcome home, gentlemen. I mean, the band only had 3 weeks to deliver their next album, or they would be in violation of their contractual agreement with WB. Now, fortunately, Van Halen recorded most of their music playing their respective parts live, so they could turn a record around in the studio very quickly. The band's eponymous debut album took only 7 days to complete. Stuff of legend. And Van Halen banged out 2 in less than 3 weeks, just in the nick of time to fulfill the terms of their record deal. After they turned in the finished record, they went back on the road for another leg of touring. In order to make the recording deadline, Van Halen pulled out 4 tracks from their original demos that they recorded with Gene Simmons and Ted Templeman. The tracks that they dusted off were Bottoms Up, Out of Love Again, D.O.A, and Somebody Get Me a Doctor. They also covered You're No Good, which only a few years earlier was a huge #1 hit on the Billboard 100 as a remake by Linda Ronstadt.
You're no good, you're no good, baby, you're no good. No good, no good, baby, you're no good.
Coming up with a new batch of songs in such a short period of time was what Diamond Dave called extreme labor. Mixing things up for Van Halen II, Eddie created a thicker guitar sound by overloading the circuits on his amplifier. Michael Anthony used a smaller bass amp to get a sharper sound. And David Lee Roth hammered the maximum of loose, organic audacity with his full arsenal of grunts, yells, squawks, and howls.
Anything else you know?
For the all eyes and ears are on us follow-up to their monstrous debut, the 4 members of Van Halen did not put on a tense game face and soldier into the studio with a steely moxie to show the world that they were not a fluke. Instead, they decided to take it to the edge and wing it. They arrived in the studio totally unprepared. In Dave's words, it was like, bang, stick it on the plastic next, please. Van Halen 2 was going to reflect the Van Halen attitude and the Van Halen lifestyle. The natural, relaxed approach actually gave more confidence and even more swagger to make their sophomore record. That's what makes Van Halen 2 such a classic. It's the spontaneity and that raw intensity. Van Halen 2 is pure, uncontaminated rock and roll with a take no prisoners, cocksure swagger that makes us all as listeners feel like we're walking on air, like we're part of the party. As we go into the song breakdown, I want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear, my favorite eyeglasses brand. If you need some new glasses or sunglasses, you need to go to zenni.com and design your own. You're sure to find a color or a style that you're going to love, and you can add on great features. My favorite is Blue Blocks that protects your eyes from digital blue light that we come into contact with daily. Check it out today. So let's pay tribute to this brilliant sequel with a track-by-track breakdown. Side 1 leads off with You're No Good. A track that reflects the four members of Van Halen's hearty affection for classic soul and R&B. You're No Good was actually written by Clint Ballard back in 1963. Over his career as a lyricist, Ballard also wrote 2 songs that went to #1 in the UK in 1965. Good Time.
It's true. Good time it brought me to you.
He also wrote I'm Alive by the Hollies. You're No Good was first performed by Dion's sister Dee Dee Warwick. That was for Jubilee Records in '63. With production by the famed tandem of Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller. It has since been covered by a lot of artists, including charting versions by, there was Betty Everett in 1963, the Swingin' Blue Jeans in '64, and the aforementioned Linda Ronstadt, who had the biggest success with the song. Ronstadt put out a well-produced remake that went all the way to the top of the Billboard Hot 100. That was in 1975. Of course, Van Halen put a completely different spin on the record. The Van Halen interpretation of You're No Good is the tawdry, back-alley barroom rendition of the soul classic. The track was recorded almost entirely live. Dance the Night Away. Oh, love this song. That's the second cut on side 1. It was one of the new songs that the band created for VH2. The band members conceived the song during the recording sessions while they were standing in a circle humming to each other. It was actually inspired by Fleetwood Mac's Go Your Own Way. Eddie Van Halen purposely left a guitar solo out of the final version of the song, replacing it instead with a riff of tap harmonics. Diamond Dave wrote the lyrics and originally wanted to call the song Dance Lolita Dance. Eddie convinced him that Dance the Night Away was much more suitable, and the chorus was changed accordingly. Roth claimed during a 2006 performance in San Diego that he wrote Dance the Night Away about an intoxicated woman who was getting it on in the back of a truck and ran with her pants on backwards while escaping police that were chasing her for lewd conduct. The inebriated woman then ran into the bar where the budding group was playing, creating quite a spectacle. The recording of Dance the Night Away was one of the few times that Eddie omitted a guitar solo. Ed spent a lot of time trying to construct a guitar solo for the track, but to no avail. However, he did put in some really cool licks in the song's bridge. The original solo that was intended to be on Dance the Night Away was very close to the solo that was recorded for Jump a few years later. Dance the Night Away was the big hit off of VH2. It went to number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was Van Halen's second top 40 hit after their Kinks cover of You Really Got Me. That cracked the Hot 100 at number 36 back in the day. Honestly, the band didn't think Dance the Night Away represented their sound, and they were reluctant to release it as a single, but the record company had the power in '79 to overrule the band on decisions about what songs were chosen for singles, so the label won that argument. It's such a laid-back, rockin' ditty with DLR's classic screechy vocal.
Watch that lady go. She's on fire.
And you could just feel Eddie's joy when jamming on this song. Just classic Van Halen.
turn your head my way.
Next up is Somebody Get Me a Doctor, that lovable Raging Party anthem. Somebody Get Me a Doctor was only released as a single in Japan, even though it quickly became a fan favorite for Van Halen fans in every country.
Somebody give me a doctor.
The version recorded for VH2 was not much different from the original that was recorded on the old Van Halen demo from '76. The main riff for the song had already been composed by 1974, as evidenced by a home recording. In fact, Somebody Get Me a Doctor was one of the first Van Halen songs to be written alongside their Running with the Devil. It was one of the early favorites at their stage shows. However, it was not selected to be included on their first album by producer Ted Templeman. According to Diamond Dave, the song is about being high and feeling good at the end of a long night of debauchery. DLR delivered perhaps the most memorable part of Somebody Get Me a Doctor, or any other Van Halen song for that matter, at the very end of the track with an impulsive cry for action.
Somebody give me a shot.
And I love Eddie's approach to this song. It just kicks you in the teeth. I used to play this one so loud. I remember my dad would yell at me, "Turn off that blasted music."
You better follow me, ambulance, I'm deep in shock.
Another vaulted Van Halen track, Bottoms Up, was selected as the fourth cut on side one. It's an American toast at the end of a Saturday night of heavy-duty partying. To me, the best part of Bottoms Up is when the music drops out and DLR sings harmony with Michael Anthony. I'm going to talk a lot about that. These harmonies are just incredible.
Bottoms up. Come on, baby.
Dave starts laughing because everyone in the studio was acting so serious, and he hit some sharp notes which made Michael laugh in turn.
Come on, baby. Bottoms up.
The song is intentionally flawed because, as Diamond Dave points out, life is not perfect. It's classic Van Halen because you feel like you're in the back room with them hanging out. No other band really has the ability to do that quite like these boys.
Bottoms up.
Side one closes with Outta Love Again, which is the oldest song on VH2. Eddie described Outta Love Again as the attack of the fly, the original horror sci-fi from 1958 starring Al Hedison, I believe, Patricia Owens, and Vincent Price. Plain and simply, Outta Love Again is a song conveying the thoughts that go through your mind when you're falling out of love. Oh well, I said you were leaving. I don't want to hear that talk. Stare at disbelief in me when I just up and walk.
Wanna hear that talk? Stare at disbelief in me when I just up and walk.
Really an excellent display of Eddie's inventive riffing and soloing and Dave's unhinged vocal tendencies. The song begins with a mysterious vibrating guitar fade-in. Sounds more like a theremin from a 50s sci-fi movie about a Martian attack on Earth than the opening to a 2-minute, 52-second rock jam. Alex's shuffle rhythm, his rolling percussion is showcased really well on this track. And thus we come to the end of side one of Van Halen II. Side two of VH2 kicks off with consummate Van Halen greatness on the cut, Light Up the Sky. DLR's smoky falsetto and the leveled down bridge. Alex's drum solo and the second bridge that leads into the vocal phasing outro. I mean, it's a roundhouse to the senses. Man, what a song. With those crank it as loud as you can, hard driving EVH guitar riffs. And the incomparable Michael Anthony and Eddie Van Halen, out of this world, absolutely stellar background vocals.
Said, "Open my
Light Up the Sky is a no doubt about it, vigorously tight VH banger. After that, Spanish Fly. The nylon string prequel to the little guitars intro off Diver Down. One of my favorite tracks ever from Van Halen. Even a 1 minute long instrumental is exceptional when it's performed by Van Halen. A Spanish Fly is more than just Eddie playing in a flamenco style. It's, as David Lee Roth describes it, flamenco plugged into a wall socket. The antagonist bursts in with a gritty EVH riff to open D.O.A., the next track on side 2 of 2. DLR narrates this wrong side of the track's crime drama with husky urgency and the desperation of a fugitive on the run. We was sitting ducks for the policeman.
We was sitting ducks for the policeman.
I found a dirty-faced kid in a garbage can, and I'm alone. I'm on the highway. Wanted dead or alive? Dead or alive. This is one of Van Halen's best album tracks. Darkly cool. One of the best parts of D.O.A. is the double team of Michael Anthony's fulsome bass line riding Eddie's grindingly rhythm. After a vibrating solo, Alex goes manic, speeding up the tempo double time, leading into a big finish with a chopping changeup by Brother Ed, and shrieking DLR banshee cries that make you stand at attention for every second of this incredible song. And then you have Women in Love. Women in Love is a song about a guy losing his girl to another man or another woman. It's not gender specific.
Girl, you better stop thinking something real.
Women in Love sets off with a beautiful harmonic finger tapping intro. Eddie's singing voice is a lot more prevalent on VH2, and this track is one of the best Eddie, Michael, Anthony backup vocal duos ever. The vocals are fuller on Women in Love, which was vital to making the chorus really pop. Ed and Michael's backup vocals, so flawless in Women in Love. Without Michael and Eddie's backup vocals, the chorus would not have that anxiety-driven sing-along spirit of the chorus. As I've contended many times on this channel, the Eddie, Michael Anthony background vocals are one of the most indispensable and underappreciated aspects in all of rock. It's one of the mandatory ingredients in the distinctive Van Halen recipe that makes the band stand out in the crowd of incredible talent from the 70s and 80s. And the last cut on VH2 is the Van Halen mega classic, Beautiful Girls. It was a staple on the band's fiery live music set during those decadent early days. The track was released as the second single from 2, but because of its suggestive subject matter, the single stalled at number 84 on the Billboard Hot 100, but it's ultimately thrived as one of the most enduring Van Halen songs ever. Beautiful Girls was originally titled Bring On the Girls. That was when it was recorded for the original 25-song Warner Brothers demo, but the title and lyrics were changed accordingly. The track was composed during a band session in Dave's basement. Beautiful Girls is a bodacious VH rocker with Eddie's ultra deluxe guitar riffs, Diamond Dave's swagger, Michael Anthony's rich backing vocals, and Brother Alex's anchoring percussion. Can't ever forget about Alex. It's just so incredible. Once again, though, the unsung hero here is Michael Anthony. His sassy bass fills before each verse on Beautiful Girls is a subtle but essential element of the song's enticing charm. Lyrically, this is quintessential DLR-era Van Halen, with clever wordplay and some of the most memorable Diamond Dave lines ever. And there's the pre-chorus. What a sweet talking honey with a little bit of money to turn your head around. Creature from the sea with a looks to me like she'd like to fool around.
Creature from the sea with the looks to me like she liked to fool around.
And the one that always makes me chuckle in verse 2, what a snappy little mammy gonna keep a pappy happy.
Snappy little mammy gonna keep a pappy happy and accompany me to the ends of the...
Definitely a precursor to the 1984 scorcher, Hot for Teacher. And of course, his jocular, one-of-a-kind, improvised showmanship, ooh la la, sit yourself on down. I love him. I need him with primal David Lee Roth conviction. Again, this song proves why Van Halen was everybody's favorite band. Nobody had more fun making music than this band. It was a 24/7 party on this record, and all you needed to attend was 2 ears, a little money to buy the LP, and maybe a sense of humor. Van Halen was truly the good time party band. Now, it's always a daunting challenge to follow a landmark event or any kind and attain the same success, especially trying to replicate the astonishing numbers for one of the biggest selling debut albums in history. But Van Halen was able to pull it off with remarkable results when their sophomore album sold nearly 6 million copies, and it rose to number 6 on the Billboard 200 album chart in 1979, the height of disco and punk and new wave and all that stuff. Sure, there was a big disparity between the 17 million units that the first record sold and 6 million sold for VH2, but the band was under the gun and still managed to pump out another essential rock masterpiece. Any band that can sell over 5 million copies of one album has really achieved elite status in the music industry, that's for sure. Besides the 10 powerful music tracks, Van Halen II also featured several iconic images that heavily influenced future generations of musicians and fans. The black and yellow guitar on the back cover of the album, known as Bumblebee, that's buried in the casket of Pantera's highly respected guitarist Dimebag Darrell Abbott, who was shot and killed by a deranged fan while playing on stage in 2004. Eddie personally placed Bumblebee in Darrell's casket at his funeral because Darrell had been very vocal about it being his favorite guitar. And actually the biggest inspiration for him to become an accomplished guitarist himself. I'm sure they're in rock and roll heaven right now. Bumblebee was not actually used to play on the recording of Van Halen II, though, as it wasn't fully crafted and delivered to Eddie until just before the photo shoot for the album. David Lee is shown in a cast in the photos included for the inner sleeve. Dave allegedly broke his heel on the third try of his famous spread eagle leap that was also used on the album's back cover. Van Halen were notorious partiers. We all know that. We've talked about it. To emphasize that dubious rep, the Sheraton Inn of Madison, Wisconsin is actually thanked in the album's liner notes. On Van Halen's first national tour, they stayed at the Sheraton and they absolutely destroyed the hotel's 7th floor. That included the band having fire extinguisher fights in the hallways and throwing televisions out the windows. They blamed the incidents on their tour mates at the time, Journey. Actually, there are some hilarious stories of Van Halen on the road with Journey, but we'll save those for another day. We'll definitely do it. All in all, Van Halen II is one of the best sophomore albums of the rock era, a worthy successor to their flawless debut record, and a set of songs that continued to build the legend of arguably America's greatest rock and roll band. They're definitely my favorite. Leave us a comment about the mighty Van Halen. Let's celebrate Eddie in the comments. What is your favorite track? What are your favorite tracks? What are your memories of the album and that time in music? Make sure to subscribe below and click the bell so you never miss out on our daily features. For more content, like I said, you can support our mission of curating this history. Check out our Patreon link for that. Your support is paramount. And also check out the Vintage Years collection and our merch. Help us keep the music alive. It's so important. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends. Let's do this again soon.